Hello and welcome to our Week 2 edition of Friday Night Spotlight. We've got Maricopa coach Chris McDonald back with us. Thanks for joining us today.
No problem.
And first of all, I'd like to talk a little bit about last week's game. We had a really emotional game, Week 1 win. It was a tribute, I think, to Nate Ford. You had an amazing crowd with you, and you also had kind of some record-breaking performances, so to speak. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, first off, the support, community support was fantastic. A lot of the players that have been here much longer than I have, have said that they've never seen anything like that, and hopefully it continues, and hopefully we can make something positive out of the tragedy that happened a couple Fridays ago and whatnot. I thought the kids, handled that adversity for that first week really well. We came out and to get down 7-0 on the opening kickoff. A lot of people don't know is we ran out there with 10 guys instead of 11 to honor Nate Ford, and to have something like that happen on opening kickoff. Even though they scored in hindsight, I still wouldn't have changed what we did. Because it was a much bigger symbol, and to come back and respond, coming back down and scoring that next possession, and really controlling the game after that. It was with 8 minutes to go in the game, it was 53-26, and 7 of those points was that kick return. And so the kids had it. The disappointment obviously is our kids allowing them, back in the game and not necessarily stepping on their throats when they had them down, and that's what we talk about. And hopefully that's something that we learn to do as a team. And
you had, it's not very often you see a quarterback throw for 500 yards in high school.
No,
so
it's not.
Let's talk about that.
I was looking last night. I was just kind of going through the AIA kind of big time passing games from quarterbacks, and I think he has the 6th highest ever in the state of Arizona. And the thing is a lot of those games I was looking at, where kids are throwing close to 600 yards. Aaron had 537. He only threw the ball 28 times. We ran the ball 35 times. We ran the ball more than we threw it. So when you see a game like that and you're not at the game and you read the stat book, it looks like we were just throwing the ball over the field, and that really wasn't the case. He was just extremely efficient with when it was time to throw the ball. And then of course, in order to have a feat like that, you got to have guys all over the field that can catch the ball and run, which we do. And our line did a fantastic job protecting too.
Let's talk about Phoenix Shadow Mountain. You've got a road game coming up tomorrow, and I believe they're 1-1.
They're 1-1.
And they, from what I've seen in the stats, they are a pass-first team.
They are.
Not a very effective team running the ball, but what do you expect tomorrow night's game?
Well, I mean, they're gonna play to their strengths. They've got a quarterback that Darian Spotsville, who's pretty good quarterback. I think through 2 games he's 3rd in the state in terms of passer rating and passing yards. They've got a dynamic receiver, number 1, Jake Welsheimer, who's going to be one of the better receivers we see all year. He had a big junior year last year. He's a kid that's getting some looks. Very similar to Johnny Johnson for us, which, by the way, we're getting back, which was huge for our team. The IA overturned the excessive celebrations because they weren't excessive, and allowing the kid to play and not miss a game. So anyway, he's very similar to Johnny in that sense. And so we're going to look, and obviously we're going to try and neutralize their strength is the pass. And so we're going to try and take that away and force them to run the ball, which is kind of backwards. Most defensive coaches you want to stop the run, but quite frankly they don't run the ball. I felt we threw the ball a ton last year, and they run the ball less than we did last year. So, we're going to try and neutralize them and force them to do something they're not comfortable doing.
All right. Well, good luck tomorrow night. Game tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, Phoenix Shadow Mountain, and make sure to follow us on Twitter with the hashtag FN Spotlight. Thanks for joining us.